Hey Eva, how are you doing? See you there. Caitlin, hi Kat Jira. Looking at everybody in the room. Appreciate you guys. Hey Justin, good to see you. All right, cool. I'm probably gonna go ahead and get started. Jay is running late, and so you're gonna get just me for now. The Q&A, like I said, anybody who just came in late, look for the Q&A. So if you have questions during this presentation, just let me know. I'm going to just give you guys a little intro, walk you through the CAM Awards for those of you who are new to it and what it is and what's going on and dates and all that stuff. Then I'm going to give you a little demo of the software system, so how you can get nominated, and if you are, how that'll work and what that whole process will be. So we'll just everybody walked through. Our software is a little unique for the YNOT CAM Awards. It's not probably like any other system you guys have ever seen. We have tried working on it over the years to make it as easy as possible for you guys to interact with us and to work with us on these nominations and the pre-nom process and all that, submitting content that we need to promote you during the show, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's just sometimes it's a little confusing, I know, because it's a unique system. So thus this webinar to walk you guys through and ask your questions. No, Kedger, there's not a chat box. There is, at least I don't see one. I'm a little bit new to webinars. I'm sorry. There is, however, you can comment to me like you just did, and then I think I can say, let's see, answer live, like I answered it, and then it should pop up what you asked right there, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let me just kick off. I just want to say a few words about our sponsors. So if you'll bear with me, this is important because I know that sometimes there's some people have different views of sponsorship and all of that, but it's important for everybody to understand that we could not put on this show without our sponsors, just period. It would be impossible to put on the show without the sponsors. So we greatly appreciate what they're doing. The sponsors that we have on board for this show are actually stepping up really to support the community. The pitch we gave them about the importance of recognizing the work that you all are doing is a pitch that they were all very receptive of and wanted to be a part of. And I do think that they deserve all the credit in the world for that, because not everybody gets involved in these kinds of things. So our platinum sponsors, we've got Chatterbait on board for that. We've got Branded Scan, Fan Attitude, which is a new fan platform that's also supporting the event at the platinum level. We have live stream sponsors. I'm Live has been a supporter since the very beginning. Flirt for Free, also a supporter since the very beginning. Motor Bunny's very active in this show. So shout out to all these sponsors for helping us make this possible. It's a very expensive show to put on, and we need their support to do it. And they're the ones that make it possible. So it would be helpful for us if you guys agree with what I'm saying here, and you enjoy the show and you like the process, to reach out to these sponsors when you can and let them know that that you appreciate that they're making these things possible. Because I mean, yeah, we do all the work over here at YNOT, but without them we wouldn't have the show. Okay, so enough about that. Also wanted to say, and I will be showing you guys where to find it in a moment, there is a YouTube video that also walks through the process, maybe a little less thoroughly than we will today, but it's there as well. So if you want to watch that after the webinar, if you don't remember any of the stuff I'm saying, you can always do that. I'll make sure to show you where that is here in the presentation. About me, really quickly, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Connor Young. I am the CEO, I'm the co-owner of YNOT, and I am the founder of the YNOT CAM Awards. So this show is my baby. It's something I conceived and started dreaming up back in 2017. And we launched it with our very first show in 2018. And what we wanted to do was to give you an idea of what was going on at the time. We knew there was the Avian Awards, which focused primarily on video stars, porn stars, that whole area of talent in our industry. And which is great. It's a really good award show. If you've never been, it's fun, it's exciting. But what we noticed was that cam models and eventually creators weren't featured in that show in the way that we felt like they deserved. There was a few categories in that show, and often the cam models were kind of, I used to say, kind of pushed to the back of the line, so to speak. So we wanted to do something that really focused on cam models and clips artists and creators that brought that aspect of our industry to the forefront. We felt like at the time, especially, that there was something going on, right? Cam sites had been around for a while, but were really gaining in popularity. Clips platforms were gaining in popularity. And what we noticed was that change in our industry, we felt, was a positive change. We felt it moved the power from the producers, right, who are shooting videos and deciding who they hire and setting all the rules, over to the performers, who now were able to sort of, put out the content they wanted to put out, right? And it really, I think, exposed a lot of things about what's possible with our industry that wasn't really widely understood before these platforms came to be. Some of that was, of course, just the fact that there's a much wider range, right, of looks and performers that are very popular with fans that perhaps the video industry of old school wasn't really recognizing. So there was gatekeeping going on as to who gets to be a performer, who gets to work in this industry. Now we don't see that with cam platforms and with clips platforms and creator platforms, fan platforms. It's a very different thing, right? And we've seen that the old industry way of doing that was very narrow-minded and was missing a whole lot. Okay. So that's another thing we felt was really important to highlight. So what we wanted to do was really drive home what we thought was like the new adult industry with the launch of the YNOT Cam Awards in 2018, and to raise awareness of this and to celebrate it and to give everybody a big night to just sort of celebrate all the hard work that they're doing all year long. So that's kind of been the goal. And I'll tell you, I tell this story a lot. So those of you who've heard it, I'm sorry to have to hear it again. But the last time I did the show in Hollywood, actually it was 2021, I'm sorry, after the 2021 show, the contact I have at Avalon Hollywood, where we put on the show, her name is Mel, and great person to work with. They love our show. And afterwards I was talking to her, and she kind of pulled me aside and she said, I just wanted you to know that more than one of the people working here on your show, so these are like Avalon employees that are like working the sound, working the lights, etc., came up to me and said to me that show was, that by being a part of it, that they felt like they were a part of something good, right? That they were doing something that was really good. And one of them had told her that the show just completely changed her views on sex work across the board, which is great, right? Which is what we're trying to do by highlighting all of you, by putting you guys up on stage, and not like, we don't focus on giving awards out to companies or anything like that. We're putting the performers on stage, we're putting you guys on stage, and we want everybody to see it, which is why it's really important to us, as expensive it is to do it. It's really important for us to have a live stream, because we want to make sure that you're all seen, not just by who's in the room, but by the larger community, right? By everybody else. And the live stream is also important because not only can your fans see you, like walking the red carpet in Hollywood and, getting your pictures taken, getting interviewed, coming up on the stage if you win, being announced as a nominee, all that stuff. Not only do your fans get to see that, which really, I think they're going to get a big kick out of, right? Every time they get to see that, it really raises, I think, your profile by being a part of this. But also the other good news is, if you have friends who want to see you, who can't come out to Hollywood and see what you do and support you, they're able to watch. If you have supportive family members, I know some people have family members that are supportive and some that are not. If you have supportive family members that you want to say, look, this is what I do for a living and it's a big deal, and watching everybody celebrate in Hollywood and watching you on the red carpet, etc., they have a chance to do that too, where they might not get a chance to really see you as part of the industry in any other setting. It's a formal affair. It's a lot of fun. We have a couple of different things that make us different than a lot of the other shows that we like to point out. The live stream is really important. That's one of them. Also, if you are a nominee, you get not only do you get VIP seating, you can bring a +1. So that way you don't have to come by yourself. If you want to bring a supportive friend or a partner or a performer that you just want with you there at the show, so you don't have to be there alone, we always allow a +1. They get to sit with you. They get dinner. Drinks are covered the whole night for all of our nominees. This is one of the reasons why we limit each category to just 5 nominees. It's, of course, from a promotional point of view, would be advantageous to YNOT if we opened it up to, like, 10, 15, 20 nominees per category. There'd be more people promoting the show. But we feel like there's a couple of things that happens when we do that. One, we can't take care of all of you in the way that we want to, because it just gets it would just get out of hand in terms of the being able to do the dinner and the red carpet interviews and all that. And also you have a much better chance of winning if you're one of 5, right? You're not up against 14 other people. You've got a 1 in 5 chance. Your category, you're going to be visible in it a lot better. If there's only 4 other people and you are amongst the 5 finalists, you're going to be very, very visible. If you're one of 20 or 15, we don't think you're getting as much promotion from that as we think you should get for being a part of the show. So we've designed the whole show to be something that, whether you win or not, if you are a part of it, you have all these opportunities to kind of raise your profile, right? To show your fans that you're part of an elite group, that you're doing this fun stuff in Hollywood, and along the way, right, throughout the pre-nom process, but especially the voting process, and then the show itself, you're going to have all these opportunities to engage with whoever you want to engage with around the show. Okay, so enough of that. Let me now move on to the dates. Okay. So later today, we are going to launch, we're going to start what we call the suggestion period, or also known as the pre-nom period to a lot of you. What's going to happen is on the YNOT Cam Awards website, which is awards.ynotcam.com, you're going to see a link that says, a suggest link near the top. It will pop up as soon as we open the suggestion period later today. When that happens, you can suggest yourself, or you can actually go out and ask your fans to suggest you. The more people that you get suggesting you, the better, and I'll explain about that a little bit later. But once you are suggested, there's going to be a process that you have to go through. What we're going to be looking for from all the suggested nominees is a combination of things. One is, how much support are you getting from fans, the community in general? Like in this suggestion period, are a lot of people suggesting you? Is it just one person who suggested you? That's one of the things we're going to be looking at. Another thing we're going to be looking at is your engagement with fans, how active you are. Like, are you on Twitter? Are you on social media? Are you out there promoting yourself or engaging with fans in any kind of a positive way? We love people who have loving fans and who engage with those fans. It doesn't matter how big your fan base is. Anybody who's been to a past YNOT Cam Awards show knows that's the case. We have some nominees who have very large fan bases. We have some nominees who are really just getting started, or who have smaller but very dedicated and fans who really love them. So that doesn't really matter how large your fan base is. It's just, do you have an engaged fan base? That's another one of the things we're going to be looking for. We are looking for people who we believe will commit to this process. Because we are limiting each category to 5 nominees, it's important that we pick nominees that really want to win, want to be a part of this process, and are willing to engage with us when we need things from them, such as, hey, can you send us promotional pictures to use to promote you? Will you set up your profile on will you set up your profile that we need in order to promote you? Can you send us videos to use in the actual process of running the show? All this kind of stuff. We're going to be looking for that. And also how qualified you are for the category, right? So obviously, if you are suggested for like cosplay category, for example, and you don't do any cosplay, then that's not a good category for you. So we'll also be looking for that. And there are also some emerging categories, right? This is for those of you who are new in the industry and maybe don't have as much of a footprint, but are making a big splash in a short period of time. So there's that as well. Okay, so these are the kinds of things we're going to be looking for as the suggestions come in, and then we will narrow it down to the nominees, the 5 nominees in each category after that. Okay, So let me share screen now so I can kind of show you guys how, let's see, where is it? There it is. I think, hopefully I'm not gonna share the wrong thing. Let's see, share. Okay. Let me walk you guys through some of this stuff. Okay, so this is the awards.ynotcam.com website. Obviously, there's general information about the show here. So you guys can look at like what's going on, kind of take an overview of the show. There's some images and pictures from last show and all that kind of good stuff. What I wanted to show you here, though, is over in info and help. The dates will be here if you forget any of the dates, like when things are due and when the nominees will be announced, which is June 20th, by the way, when we will actually announce all the nominees. And there's a how to get nominated link right here. So if you click on this one, this is actually from last year, but I don't think there's anything that needs to be updated. So just know this video was filmed last year, but the process will be the same here. You can watch this if you want, and I'm walking you through all of the the stuff I'm about to show you. So if you forget anything I'm saying and you need a refresher, head right over here and this will walk you through. Or if you prefer to read, it will explain all this stuff here as well and show you like screen caps of the stuff that I'm about to show you. Okay, so that's what we've got there. Okay. Next thing. Okay, so let me show you YNOT ID. So YNOT ID is our this is our single sign-on system, essentially, that initially when we first created it, it would allow you to create one username so you can grab onto the username you want to use and then use it to log into various YNOT sites. And we've greatly expanded it since then. So you can come here to start a registration if you don't already have a YNOT ID account. But the most important thing to know when you do this is this link right here. This drop-down link, you want to make sure you select talent when you are signing up. If you have an account that's not talent, like for example, if you have a executive account, right, that's no good. Your fans are going to want to select fan when they sign up, right? This makes sure that you're all seeing the things that you need to see, okay? So bringing you inside to the dashboard. Once you're inside a talent account specifically, you're going to have a lot of options here on the side. This is your general account settings for your account. So this is just some basic information about you: birthday, gender, country, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so you can fill that out. We'll get to the second. Then you have, this is only part of the talent account, right? And this is important to the whole process, the whole nomination process and the voting process. You have a model profile page right here. And you'll need to go through and fill this out, right? And it's going to ask you just information. It'll have your YNOT ID associated with it, which is the username you created when you set up your YNOT ID account. You can change your professional name to whatever you want, right? What you guys use, you just put it in here. That's what's going to show up. This could be visible at times to people. This can be visible at times to people, right? Your real name is really not ever anywhere that's going to be visible. Not really is, it's just, it really is. We will never put your real name out. So we need your professional name so it's understood what's going to be displayed. Okay, you can put a short description for the top of your profile page and then a longer bio to say anything you want here. You can say display location. So if you want to say I'm from Austin, Texas, if you want to say Austin, Texas. If you just want to say the internet because you don't want people to know. If you want to say I'm from Colombia, like whatever you want to say, you have the option to put here for your display location. Okay, don't get too specific though, for your own safety. I think you guys all know this, but definitely don't get too specific about your location. Okay, then we want to know if you shoot custom content. So this is really for creators and fan platforms. And your display age. Now, this is different than your age. We need to know your age to know that you're legal, right? And that you can be a part of this process, that you're at least 18. Also, as a warning, the Avalon Hollywood only lets people 21 up into the venue. So you can, you'd have to be at least 18 to be considered for a nomination, but to actually go and attend Avalon Hollywood, you're gonna have to be 21 or older. Your display age, however, is if you want to, you can leave this blank, but if you do want to display an age on your profile page that I'm about to show you, put the date here of what you want your birth date to sort of be, and then it will calculate based off of that so that your fans see whatever you want to put out. Okay, this is just some quick stats. If you want to put it on the side, you can. It'll show up as I'll show you on the side. You can make your links list right here, which is going to be, just put in your social media links, your website links, links to your cam shows, any other sites where you're active. This is basically Linktree, right? It's just another Linktree, and you can put in as much as you want to the Linktree. This is if you have a Why Not Mail account. A lot of people wanted to do email marketing to their fans. And the problem was if they didn't have a website where they can collect email addresses, and Why Not Mail, which is our email marketing service, doesn't provide you with a place where fans can go to put in their email address, and you can start a list to it. So if you have a Why Not Mail account, you can link it here basically to your Why Not Mail account. You just put in your login and stuff for your Why Not Mail account, and you'd link it. And then I'll show you, it'll show up on your profile page as well, so that you can send fans there and ask them to put in their email address, and you'll start collecting an email address. It's a little off topic, but I will say I highly recommend you all do that. If you can imagine, like if you had many years of social media engagement with fans and you were collecting email addresses along the way, a lot of you found out about this webinar because of the email that we sent out. It's such a huge advantage. A social media platform, a fan platform, they can take your account away if they want to and cut you off from access to all these fans that you've worked so hard to generate. If you have an email list, though, it's yours, right? That's your property, and you can move it to whether it's Why Not Mail, or you use it on another email service, or you set up your own software for doing all this. That's yours, and it becomes an asset. You can cross promote with other performers. If you have an email list, like you can send out to your list saying, hey, visit my friend, and your friend can do the same thing for you. So it provides a lot of marketing opportunities that you might otherwise not have access to. And that's important because we're such a volatile industry. Anything can happen with social media accounts, as you guys know, and mainstream services are often do not treat us fairly. Okay, so this is the profile page. Now this will say, when it's not published, it'll say, there'll be a link here that says publish my profile. So once you've got all this down, okay, you're going to want to, like, say publish my profile, and then it'll look like this, and you can see the profile or unpublish the profile. Okay, the profile is going to look like this. It's going to be up on ynot.com, right? Models / and then this is your YNOT ID. So that's where it's going to be. When the voting process and the nomination process are happening, right here at the top, you're not seeing it now because we haven't switched it on, there will be a box right at the top that says suggest me, or if you're a nominee when it's voting time, vote for me. Okay, your fans don't have to do that. They can go straight, oops, wrong one. Yep, no, this is the right one. They can come straight here to the YNOT Cam Awards site, and there will be a suggest button near the top, and there'll be a vote button near the top, and they can do it that way if you want. But if you send them to your profile page, the difference here is it knows who you are, so your fans don't have to put in your email address or your YNOT ID or anything like that. They don't have to know that, versus if they just go straight to the award site, we're going to have to collect that information from them. So it's always easier just to say, go to my profile page and suggest me here. If you're a nominee, this is essentially kind of required because we have a whole page promoting all the nominees, and it's automated to give you guys control of how that page looks, and your the images that you want to use. You won't show up, your box will just show up blank until you come here. You have a profile page, so you can choose the images that you want put up. Okay, everything else on this, just so you understand, this is like the data sheet. So you see like how the age shows up if you put in, I just put in a ridiculous, I mean, I look 20, right? No, you can put this is where that's going to show up. The about text is the larger bio is going to show here, and the small quick bio is going to go here. You see it says where I said I was from here, and this is my YNOT ID, and this is my performer name, right? That's going to show up. This is the profile picture that you add to your account. Did I show you guys that? That's right here. So you can change your avatar if you want, upload a new one, crop, delete it. You have all the access to this, and this is the one that's also going to show up in your on your nominee page if you're a selected nominee. Okay, now these my pictures show you that. This is portfolio. And this is basically designed, you have to use safe for work pictures on YNOT because we're a safe for work site, but this is designed to give you a place where you can show off some of your favorite photography and kind of show yourself off at your best. They're all clickable. You can edit the thumbnails. You can make the thumbnails show how you want. And these are, you know, clicked for the larger picture. You can do all that stuff there. Okay, and that's going to show up right here. And I think you can have up to 9 pictures right now in your portfolio, if I remember correctly on the limits there. And then your link tree is going to show up down here as well. Okay, so that's everything on this free profile page. And whether you're a nominee or not, this page it's a nice way for you to have an additional profile page with additional link list. It's a nice way to do that for free in case you ever run into problems with any of your other link lists, or you just want one where you can send people to say, here's all the stuff that I got. You can find it all here. Okay, and then you don't have to worry about it being taken down by an unfriendly mainstream company that suddenly decides they don't want to allow sex workers anymore. So that's the good news there. The only rule is, well, maybe not the only rule, but the main rule for us is everything here has to be safe for work. And so it can be sexy, it can be PG-13, but it's got to be safe for work. So please keep that in mind, and you'll get a little pop-up warning and reminder about that before you post your images. So that's how that's going to work. Now, let's say somebody comes here and suggests you. Now what happens? So what's going to happen is the system is going to fire off an email to the email address that you have given us in your YNOT ID. So it's gonna fire it off to that. Or if a fan goes straight to the voting page on our awards website and doesn't know your YNOT ID and puts in a different email address than your YNOT ID email address, it will fire off a notice to that email address, right? Whatever they put in. So it's better if they come here and do it, then you don't have to worry about it. It'll go to the right email address that you want, okay? Fans probably don't even know your email address all the time. So sometimes they just have to put in your name, or they give us your Twitter handle and we have to find you. So it just complicates it more. There's more of a chance for something to go wrong. So it's better if they come here. You're going to get an email notifying you that you've been suggested for a category. Now, you should only get one email the first time you were suggested for a category. That means you should not end up getting, like, if somebody said, if you get suggested 30 times, you should not be getting an email each time. However, you will get another email if you were suggested for a new category. So if you get suggested for Cam Star of the Year, for example, and you get an email for that, and then the next day somebody suggests you for cosplay and you get another email for that, but just once per category. So the reason why this is important is, let me go back to, oops, wrong one, here. When that happens, you see this awards management tab right here. Okay, let's click over to here. So this pre-nom alerts process, once you get that email, right in here under pending suggestions is going to say, basically, look, you've been suggested for this category. And what we need you to do is either accept or decline. Okay, if you accept it or you decline it, like, the results of what you did will pop down here. And what this does is often fans will suggest people for categories that they really don't want to be considered for. So all you got to do is decline. And at that point, that category, no matter who suggests you for it from that point forward, we already know, look, don't consider you for that. You don't want to be considered for that category. The ones that you do want to be considered for, though, it's really important that you accept them before we're done with the suggestion period. The reason for that is once the suggestion period ends, which is going to be the end of the day, so right when we turn to midnight Pacific time on June 16th, that's when the system shuts down. If you have not accepted the categories that you were suggested for by then we don't really know that you even want to be considered for that category, and we can't consider you at that point. So we've got about a month, a little less, to get all this stuff in and done. So definitely watch for that, and maybe just in case you miss an email, check it from time to time to make sure there's nothing pending. Especially maybe put a reminder to check it for sure on June 14th, 15th, like a day before, just in case there's anything you missed. You can put a reminder in your phone right now. That'll make sure you can see and you won't miss like something you really wanted to be considered for, and then it's too late for us to do so. Okay, when you do accept, you're going to get like a questionnaire that we're going to have a few questions. It might look different than this one, that we're going to ask you about the show and about your willingness to really be a nominee and what you're interested in, etc. Now, once we switch to announcing the nominees, which will be on June 20th. So feel free to put that in your calendars as well. I don't have an exact time. Usually it's like early afternoon, Central Time is usually when that goes up. Any ones you are actively nominated for will pop over to here, and you will see your active nominations here. Now, this will give you a few little tools to promote your nomination that will pop up here. And they may not all show up on the very first day. We might have additional tools that'll be like images you can use on social media, et cetera, things like that. They'll pop up under promote your nomination just to give you guys some tools to kind of show off. This is this is the important one, guys. So I am begging you, please. The hardest part for us on this show is every category, we show a video clip right before the winner is announced that shows everybody in the process, all the nominees. So that's like 125 nominees, I believe, after when you go through all the different categories, and we have to have a clip from 125 nominees. And most of you get them to me very fast, which is fantastic. Love you guys. Some of you, it takes a little longer, and then others down to the last. And then there's also some that just end up sending us nothing. Sending us nothing is awful, because at that point, all we can do is use like a still image of you. So you got a category and you got these great videos showing of every other nominee, and then there's like a still image of you. And it's like, it just does not look as cool. And you may not think it's a big deal now, but when you're in Hollywood and you're sitting in a packed room with hundreds of your peers, and there's a big stage and there's screens all up there, and you don't look the way that you want to look, you're gonna be bummed. Okay. So definitely make sure that you are submitting your video clips if you are a nominee. We're going to need at least one video clip of you. I say give us like 10-15 seconds if you can, of a couple of different looks. It can be something you've already shot that you think is great. It's going to have to be safe for work, so we can show it on Avalon in the live stream. You can be I don't know, blowing a kiss, waving, whatever, do something a little funny really quickly. But please be aware, we're going to have to cut. We're going to take like the best 5 seconds or so from that clip for the nomination category. So you're going to be up on the screen for about 5 seconds, give or take, when your name is called. So it will have to be cut down. So if you send us something that's like 15 seconds long and that's meant to be funny, and we have to cut 5 seconds out of it to use the best 5 seconds, it might not make sense, right? So just keep that in mind. Also, we are going to have opportunities for those of you who want to participate in additional little promotions and videos that we're going to show to the audience to try to promote you guys. So for example, last year, the opening of the show, we solicited videos from people, and then we used them to create this kind of opening montage to kind of announce the show to everybody. And there was like all the nominees doing different things on the screens and whatnot. There were a few people who, I guess, didn't send us anything, but didn't understand, I guess, that that they didn't send it, and were really bummed when they weren't on the opening show. We actually had several people who were in that category, and I don't want you guys to be disappointed at that. So I will communicate to you guys anything special that we're doing that you have the option to participate in. If you want to participate, make sure to get back to me as fast as you can, so I can make sure that we're including you. And so also you might want to, my email address is connor.young@ynot.com. So connor.young@ynot.com. You might want to whitelist me, make sure nothing ends up in your spam box. And you might even want to whitelist the entire, if you can, awards.ynotcam.com domain, so that anything that comes from the system does not end up in the spam box. If you want to, we just need that one clip for sure for your nomination category. But if you want to supply more, you can supply more. Okay, so that's what's going to happen here. And then past awards will show up here. So if you're a winner or a nominee, your past awards nominations and wins will show up. You'll have a little badge under past awards. So that's how that's going to work. Let me just pause real quickly to ask, do any of you have any questions so far about anything that I've said so far to this point? Okay. Oops, I was not scrolling down. What if you're, okay, so anonymous question, what if you are talent and an executive? This is open to anybody who is talent. So if you are both of these things, make sure you have, but you want to participate in this, you want to make sure that you have a YNOT ID account that is talent for sure. You can also create a separate executive account if you want, but in that case, you're going to need to use a different email address, right? Because it's only going to let you use one. So that's the answer to that. Also, in case any of you are confused, it's called the YNOT CAM Awards. That does not exclude creators at all in any way. We have creator specific categories. We've got categories that includes both CAM performers and creators. So it's both things. Creators use cams too, so cameras too. So it's if for any reason you were confused about that, don't be confused about that. We definitely want creators to participate. Also, there is a difference between the YNOT Awards and the YNOT CAM Awards. So please make sure that for the YNOT, when you're saying the award show, it's the YNOT CAM Awards, because the YNOT Awards is something we do in Prague every year. It's more of a brands and like business executives type of award show that we do over there. This is our big production here in the US. And so just keep that in mind. There is a difference between the two. Got a question here. Hold on, let me so I can show the I got a question. What are the gender options? With respect to your profile page, these are your gender options. So it's man, woman, non-binary, transgender, intersex, or I prefer not to say. That's what we've got right now. If anybody feels like we're missing something that they really want up here for your profile page, please let us know and we will add that for you. The other question, I guess, is with respect to the categories. So most of our categories are completely open, right? So this is actually something I'm kind of proud of. It's something that we started in 2018, and I really don't think, I can't say for sure, but I don't know that anybody else was doing it in this regard very often. So essentially every category will say, but generally it's like funniest model, right? If it's that award, or best cosplay, these are all open categories. So that means anybody can participate in these categories. So keep that in mind. There are occasionally specific categories by gender, and in those particular cases, that's so that we can make sure that, quite honestly, I'm sorry if there's any guys in the room, quite honestly, that's because the women will probably slay you in the voting, and we want to make sure you have a chance to be a winner as well. So there is like Cam Star of the Year Woman, which is open to all women. There's Cam Star of the Year Man, which is open to all men. Cam Star of the Year Trans, which is open to all trans performers. This is generally how these three categories will work. But again, most of the categories are going to be completely open to everybody. Okay, hands are live. Hopefully that answers your question, Bella. Any other questions for me before I kind of move on? Okay, I think not, but just pop them in there if anything comes up. Okay, so just a few little last points to make sure. We talked about the profile page. Make sure to send your supporters over to your profile page to make it easy, and make sure that your votes and suggestions are being properly tied to your YNOT ID account. The suggestion period, we've talked about that process again, ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, June 16th. Like as soon as that minute's over, it's closed down. Finalists will be announced a few days later on June 20th, sometime in the afternoon. I don't have a specific hour for that one. You will get an email sent out to all finalist nominees when the voting process is over. And remember, you have to accept or decline your suggestions. Well, you don't have to decline it. If you don't want it to be involved at all, you can ignore them, but you have to at least accept by the June 16th in order for it to be considered, or we can't consider you for the 2013 award. So that's important. Let's see. So if you have any questions along the way, you can either email me at the email address I gave before, or if you don't remember that and you just want to make sure it gets out to our team in general, we have ynotsupport.com. So ynotsupport.com. You can go there and it's a ticket system. If you open a ticket, it'll fire it off to our team and we can make sure it gets to the right person. for the show. Also, I want to make sure you're all aware Why Not Community is happening again this year at the W Hollywood. This is right before the award show happens. And essentially, this is a multi-day career development conference. It's a business conference for specifically designed really for performers, for cam models, for creators, for talent. There are a few activities for executives as well and companies, but it's primarily targeted at talent. And this is very different for those of you who are at XBiz Miami. This is a very different kind of show than that in this sense. It'll be maybe some similar people that you saw at that show might also be at this one. Why Not Community, however, is XBiz. From what I understand, there was a lot of hanging out and drinking and just socializing and networking and you know, collaborating and that sort of stuff. Great. And then at our show, we have a little bit more of a business focus, I guess, a career development focus for performers. So come dressed however you want. Be comfortable. You're not putting on any kind of show for anybody else, so you don't have to worry about any of that. There's no fans allowed. All of the seminars that are going to be going down are going to be with you guys in mind specifically. It's not seminars for anybody else except for like talent. So that's going to be going on. There are parties, so there is that socializing and drinking and hanging out and all that other stuff in the evenings. It's just not going to be going on all throughout the daytime. So we'll basically do business in the daytime. There'll be like opportunities to do meet markets with companies who run platforms and talk to some of the executives who run platforms. And for example, if you wanted to talk with somebody at Chatterbait or if somebody from I'm Live, you'll have an opportunity to kind of find them and talk with them and ask your questions and give your feedback and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more information about that one on the Why Not Community website, which I believe, yeah, there we go, have this up. Registration is not, even this says register, it will bring you to the you know, tickets and the options and stuff, but this will go live probably either late tonight or tomorrow if you want to purchase a ticket to this. This has information about the show. Oops, there's like, that's just a little noted to fix that. Okay. And then there's list of like speakers. Schedule for the show is not really up in terms of all the webinar, or I'm sorry, all the seminars yet, but it will be soon. There's information about the host hotel. And this is important, guys. Our initial room block completely sold out and very fast. We were caught off guard by that. I'm ashamed to say. And so we negotiated another block with the hotel, and this has just recently been put up. So you're going to want to jump on this as soon as you can, because they're going to go too. So the good news is, and I want to make sure everyone understands this because there's a lot of confusion here too. The rate we were able to get from them is not only lower than the published rates, but the published rates, like if you're on Expedia or something like that, what they're generally not telling you is that there is a resort fee, right, that gets tacked on to every single night. And I think it's like $25 or $30 extra. So if Expedia is advertising it for $300 a night, for example, it's really more like $325 plus taxes. The fees that the lower fee that we have negotiated with them for this final block is all inclusive. So there will not be a resort fee tacked on to bump up your costs as well. The W is a little expensive. I'm sorry about that. It's definitely lower cost for a W hotel than a lot of other cities, which is the good news. We like to keep it there because they have terrific space. And they're so good to us. They're very welcoming of our community, and that's kind of what that brand really embraces, really. And so we just feel like it's a really good place to be. We like to be at hotels that want us to be there, that know what we're doing and that are supportive. And also it's a very nice place to stay. And so it's so if you need to cut costs down and find people to room with you, et cetera, that's a good way to do it. Maybe some of you have platforms that will sponsor you for your rooms or pick that up for you guys, which is great. So there's that. And also don't feel like you have to stay at the W. So if you just look at it and go, yeah, there's no way, you want to Airbnb nearby, etc., just pick something safe, please. Make sure that you guys stay safe, but there's a lot of options nearby that you can go to if needed. Let me see. I'm sorry. One more thing I wanted to bring up. That's not it. You know, when you have too many things open on your screen and then you're trying to find that one thing and you cannot find it. That's kind of the situation I find myself in right now. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, I cannot find, wait, is this it? Nope. Can't find it. All right. So I guess there's one point I'm not bringing up because I just can't find it. Okay, so is there any questions on it? Let's see, hold on. You went over the suggestion period. Is there a separate? The question is, you went over the suggestion period. Is there a separate voting period after that? Yes, absolutely. So as soon as the suggestion period ends, it's going to, like I said, on the 16th, then the nominees are announced on the 20th. And the second that happens, the moment we announce it, it's going to flip over on the website to now vote. So the vote links are going to start showing up. It'll show up on your profile page. It will also show up on the awards.ynotcam.com website. So at that point, you have the opportunity to send your fans to either location. Again, we highly recommend the profile page to make it easy. So there's less chance of confusion in terms of making sure the votes get tallied directly to you. Your fans can vote for you. Other performers can vote for you if you'd like. So if you've got friends who want to support you in the industry, that's totally cool. So anyone with a fan account or a performer account or a executive account can all vote for you. So they all can support you with your nomination. There's even one category that generally is for models only. So we have a models choice category. So that's maybe individuals who you all feel are exceptional and you want to be promoted. Okay. Let's see a couple more questions here. It's live. I'm trying to figure out this whole webinar thing. Okay, on the hotel booking, this is a good question. On the hotel booking, what does extended availability mean versus limited availability? So there is a couple of good things to point out here. So when we first negotiated the second room block, I believe if you went into like the first block, like the prices were a little bit lower on the first block, and it's like a little bit higher in the second. So I think one is the first block and one is the second. They were supposed to take the first block off, but like when they first extended it, was just the extended availability. I noticed that the first block was showing up under limited availability, I think. And I think it was still working. So you can try that if you want and see if it works. However, that block does not have negotiated the resort fee out of it. So even though it might look like it's a little cheaper, basically tack on $25 to that to get what you're really paying per night. And I think maybe the extended availability is going to work out to be either exactly the same or, or very, very close. So that's what's going on with that. I'm glad you brought that up. Also, so that you guys know, to get the lowest rates possible at the W, you have to select the run of house, I think they call it, which unfortunately means that they're going to, you're not specifically saying it has to be a king bed, it has to be 2 queens. If you're willing to select run of house, you get quite a big discount versus if you say, I specifically want this bed type. What I would say is if you want to try that, try it first, run a house before you would do anything else, and then call them up and say, if you have a preference, like you really want 2 queens, call them up and say, yeah, I booked this thing. I selected run of a house. Is there a way for you to notate it that, I really want to be in 2 queens? And they should be able to accommodate you for that without raising your costs. Hopefully, worst case scenario, if you were willing to pay the higher cost to say, I definitely want this type of bed, then you could try it at run a house and you can call them up and say, please just bump me up to that. So the worst case scenario, you get a shot at it at the lower price. And if you really don't care either way, then it doesn't really matter. Run a house is the best way to go. Okay, that one's answered live. Where can I find the room block? Okay, good question. So I think, am I on the right site here? Let me see where I am. Yeah, so on the YNOT community site, this is probably the best way to find it. There's hotel, there's an option for hotel here. So if you click that, it'll bring you to this little information page about the hotel, and there's a book my rooms link here. And if everything's working, because these hotel sites sometimes do weird stuff, you should be able to say, let's say like extended availability. That was the question, right? Between the two, extended availability, make reservation. They're going to give you like a little bit of a range, because even though we have recommended check-in, check-out dates, they're going to give, like, I think they put August 3rd through August 12th, which is my birthday, by the way, August 12th. You guys have a chance to like extend your stay if you just want to stay there a little bit longer than what we're doing. For our events, if you're doing both community and Chem Awards, we recommend you check in August 6th, you know, which is like the evening when we're kind of like the pre-evening, and then you'll be there for the full days of community. And then you can check out, I think it's August 10th. So Chem Awards is August 9th. And then if you do the reservation check on the 10th, you'll be fine. Unless you want to stay a little bit longer, you can at these rates. So just select your check-in here, number of rooms, etc., and it'll give you the listing. Okay, that was, we can find the room block. That was answered. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Okay, this was this was the other piece that I was missing that I knew was important. It was going to drive me crazy, and she asked a question. Okay, so I am so sorry I came in late, but how many times per day can my fans vote? Thank you. That was so important. Okay, the reason why we have built this YNOT ID system, so your fans are going to need an account to vote, just like you, other performers will need an account to vote for you, etc., the whole thing. The reason why we do that is because if, for example, let's say we just said, okay, you don't need an account, just go to this page and you can vote as much as you want. Okay, what that means is we don't like that process. We think it means that, like, if somebody has maybe somebody they paid who's just going to sit there spamming votes all day for them, right? And they can put one after another, it's unlimited, and the IP addresses aren't being logged, and there's none of this stuff going on to protect the integrity of the vote. We think that sucks. So we don't want to do that, because that would really be unfair. It's like if one performer had access to more resources and could just like, you know, work that, you know, it's like it really sets the vote off in all kinds of ways. So your supporters can vote for you just once per day. And we have, to warn you guys, so that you don't waste your time, we have internal mechanisms, right, that we guard against fraud. So that's everything from signing up for your account to make sure there's some legitimacy there, and any funky stuff somebody's trying to do with, like, you know, multiple accounts or just trying to get clever. We have a really amazing team of software coders who've been working with us for a long time, who built this system for us, and we specifically built in protections against all that kind of stuff. Okay, so the integrity of the vote is really important to us when it comes to that kind of thing. So yes, one time per day, and you need a YNOT ID account so that we can log all this stuff and monitor for weirdness. Okay, so hopefully that answered that question, and thank you for asking that. Okay. Okay, Eva Darling asks, are we doing negative COVID tests again this year? Good question. We are not. So we think that we have moved past that point right now where anything like that is appropriate. She is asking because in the past we have required either vaccination or COVID proof of a negative proof. This did come with some benefits, I will say, because I don't think, as I'm thinking back, there may have been some, but I never heard of a single case. This is like during the pandemic, even right afterwards, I didn't hear of a single case of anybody coming back from our events with COVID. That was the good thing about that. It really helped in that regard. Also, we have a different approach. Like, we put you guys in large rooms so you guys can spread out when you want to, all that kind of stuff. So that we think that also helps. Chem Awards can get a little crowded though, because there's a big audience in there. So we ask you to please be safe and protect yourself. We are not going to require anything this year. We're not going to be checking you for that, but please be safe. If you want to wear a mask, you are welcome to do so. If you feel any symptoms, of course, all the common stuff you guys have heard from the pandemic period, just please keep it in mind. If you feel symptoms and you think you're sick, or you're around someone who was infected, please, even if it hurts you or pains you to do it, please don't go, because we don't want other performers or people to get sick. So we got a great record with that at our show, and we'd love to keep it going. Okay, so that one's answered. Okay, so maybe I missed you saying this, but when does the voting end? So voting ends, I did not say that. Let me pull that up for you guys, because that's the one date I did not specifically, hold on, this is not the right one. I did not specifically share with you guys. So under important dates here, give it a second to load. You will find all of them here. So voting ends on July 21st. This will give us enough time What we like to do is we like to make sure that the winners all have engraved trophies, so that when they come up and accept their trophy, their names is engraved in it, and you can take that home, and you don't have to worry about like waiting later for the engraving. Usually that works 98% of the time. Every now and then the engravers screw up and we have to fix it later, getting names spelled wrong and stuff like that. But July 21st is when voting ends, and at that point we've got some time right before community starts, and then the chem awards itself. So all that stuff is here, and yes, there will be dinner, there will be pre-show entertainment. The red carpet on Vine Street is great. Like you're in Hollywood, you're right on Hollywood and Vine, which is a historic venue, or historic location in Hollywood. You're at Avalon Hollywood, which was former the Hollywood Palace. There were like there were variety TV shows filmed there back in the day. There was like the Beatles' first West Coast performance ever was at the Avalon Hollywood. You actually can see it in the Elton John movie. I think it was called Rocket Man. It was great. Like he's driving up to the Capitol Records building, which is right across the street, and I saw Avalon, and it was like, hey, there's the Hollywood Palace. That's great. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. You're out in the street where everybody can see you, and there's photographers and whatnot lined up, and there's video going on and live stream. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Mary, your question was even for pre-nominations, but I don't know what that's in context to. So maybe perhaps you can fill that in a little bit more. Okay, Kitty, just real quick. So if we already signed up on a business account, then all we have to do is sign up again with another email in order to create a model account, correct? Kitty, yes, you can do it that way. If you want to transition, if you don't need the business account and you want to transition it to a model account, that is possible, but it means we just have to involve our technical people to sort of go do that for you. So you basically want to just go to ynotsupport.com, and you'd want to like open a ticket there, and we will try to help you. But if you got another email address, you're good to use. You can keep your executive account if you're doing both things, and then you can create a talent account as well. Okay. Voting once a day with an account also apply to, the prenoms. No, so prenoms is different, Mary. It's not really a vote count on prenoms. Like we take into account how much support you're getting on the prenom process, but that's not really all the things, right? It's the other things I mentioned too, how qualified you are for the category, how engaged you are in the community, all that kind of stuff. But so you are welcome to ask people to suggest you more than once, but keep in mind it will collect who's suggesting you. So if like the suggestions come through from the same person 100 times, like it's not going to really matter. It's just one person suggesting you. As far as we're concerned, we will have access to that information. So hopefully that answers your question there. Okay, I think I've got through all I don't think I'm missing any from the Q&A tab. Have I missed any questions, anybody? Put them in now if you think I have. Otherwise, I think we're about to wrap up. We'll do more of these webinars as we go. So after we kind of get things rolling, we'll do another webinar to kind of update you guys on everything that's going on. But definitely once the nominees are announced, we're going to do more webinars to kind of walk everybody through things. If you want to get ahead on it, I mean, I know a lot of you might want to wait until the nominees are announced so that you're not disappointed or you didn't do work if you're not selected. If you want to get ahead on it, I am going to be reaching out to everybody to ask them for videos, like I mentioned, for the nominee categories, and possibly videos for additional things. So you're welcome to start filming some of that. If you want to get ahead on your pictures for your profile page, which everybody can create regardless, do that. And I guess just a personal note from us and from the heart, I guess, the worst thing about this show is great for us in almost every way. Like we love how much fun everybody has with the show, and we see everybody just like having such a good time and hanging out with their friends and their peers, with like-minded people who get it, people who understand what you're doing. You don't have to like hide any aspect of your work or anything like that. It's a fun celebration and a really good time. The worst part is that not everybody gets to win, right? And I say that because there are categories that like literally we're over here at YNOT and we're seeing some of them are so close. You guys have no idea how close the voting can be with like a couple votes sometimes, like right down to the end. Some of them are so close. right? And then we have categories sometimes where there's a very clear winner that sort of like runs away with it. So that happens too. But we've had a lot of categories where we're like, oh man, there's like multiple people in here that we we love them. We love all these people, and it's going to suck to have to like that one of them is that four of them aren't going to win, right? There can only be one person that comes to the stage, which is why we try to point this out in advance, because we want this to be a positive experience for you. You know, they always say like, oh, it was just an honor to be nominated. Well, we have built this system so that it is an honor just to be nominated. You know, we had like I'm not exaggerating, just for the emerging Camstar category last year, we had like over, God, it was like over 200 suggestions for that category, and we're breaking it down to 5. So like if you were a nominee, that really is a big deal, right? We've had some performers that really got upset or sad or felt hurt after, you know, the winner is announced. Man, that really breaks our heart, because if you are one of those 5 nominees, wow, right? You were selected over like all these other people to be in that category, and you're going to get all that promotion along the way. So you're going to get all the engagement with your fans that you can use for to help them getting you, supporting you. And the more they support you, man, the more attached they get to you. You're going to have content showing yourself in Hollywood, walking the red carpet. You can show that to your fans. You're going to get promotion all the way. We're going to promote you. We're going to talk about you. We're going to list you in the magazine that's going to be handed out to everybody to show. You're going to be called your name on the stage, and you're going to get it on the live stream, which is, by the way, is typically in the tens of thousands, right, of people watching this live stream. So it's not a small audience. There's a very large audience watching you guys, right? So it's not like you're in a room and 300 people see you, or 500 people see you, or whatever's in the room, versus that. And in addition to that, a very, very large online audience watching this too. So again, just being a nominee really does come with a whole lot of benefits. So please try to keep that in mind, and don't let it I guess hurt your feelings or make you feel like in any negative way if you're not the one, because unfortunately only one person will win at the end, and this is a whittling down process. You've already technically won by being a nominee in that regard. You've been selected in a very exclusive group. I hope that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Eva. Appreciate the kind words there. And one anonymous attendee, are there any new categories this year? There is one. There is one. We are going to be adding a category for emerging fetish models. So that will include cam models and also creators. Emerging typically means somebody with 2 or fewer years of experience in the industry. So that gives new performers a chance to compete, whereas the the more longer established performers might be harder for them to compete in the same categories with them. So yeah, that will be added this year. But other than that, it'll typically look like it did last year. We're pretty happy. Our categories have evolved a little over the years, but one of the things we've always done, I think we were the first, again, to ever have categories that mixed all genders, right? I don't know if anybody ever did that at AVN or not, or any of the other shows. I think we were first to do that. I know some of them followed us a few years later, but I think we were the first to do that. And all of our categories, as you'll notice, they're nice categories, right? So they are not, we do not reduce you guys to ethnicities. We do not reduce you down to body parts. We do not do that. So what we are trying to do is highlight you, the person you are, and your what you bring to the table. This is not about that. So when you see our categories, we're very proud of them. We put a lot of thought into them, and we hope you guys think so too. So that was answered. On average, how many nominees per category before the final? It really depends on the nominee. I mean, the category, how many suggestions that we get. Like I said, we had Camstar of the Year, Creator of the Year. These are the biggest categories. So they're going to have by far the most suggestions. So that will be in the hundreds. Like, I don't think we've ever top the 1,000 on it, but it will be in the hundreds. It's like it gets up to be a lot. Emerging categories tend to be very popular. We had over 200 suggestions last year for the emerging categories. When you get down to more specific categories, like whether it's like any of the cosplay categories or the fetish categories, etc., the number of people you have to have additional qualifications for those categories that not everybody has. So the suggestions will be less for that one, but it'll still be, I don't think there's any category we've had less than 100 suggestions recently, other than I think there was we removed this category because there just wasn't oddly enough support for us. Unfortunately, the guys aren't always as engaged in the process, and so I think we had an emerging Camstar category for the guys, and it was unfortunately we just weren't getting enough new guys to participate in that category. We're open to returning that category though if that changes. So that was one where there was less. So I think for the men you have a smaller group, and the women you have more. If you really feel like you are a big contender for Camstar of the Year, you should totally go for it. Creator of the Year, totally go for it. If you're pretty sure that you would do better in a more specific category, do that. But keep in mind, you can be suggested for more than one category, but each person who's suggesting you can only select 3. But if multiple people are suggesting you for different categories, you can put in to be considered for that. So it's not like if you're trying for Camstar of the Year that you can't be suggested for cosplay, for example, but it's going to be more suggestions for the Camstar of the Year category. So that one, Sir Live. Okay, I think I am only seeing that. So guys, thank you so much. Let me stop the share on this one. Thank you guys so much for attending. I really appreciate it. And I think we're going to have this recorded for later, I hope. And if I did this right with the webinar thing, this is a little bit new to me with the Zoom webinar. Hopefully we'll have that up for anybody who missed it. And I'm sorry, I'm always looking down. My camera's up here, and so I'm always like reading stuff. It looks like I'm looking down. But we really appreciate you guys attending and showing this much interest in the CAM Awards. Along the way, feel free to reach out to me. I am very happy to, as everybody knows who's worked with me in the past, to respond to you guys. At times, I might get a little busy, and it will take a little bit longer to respond, and sometimes I'm able to fire a response right away. I will reach out to all the nominees personally, so you'll have my email address and you can reach out to me anytime. Use the ynotsupport.com anytime as well to just fire off questions, or if you need help along the way or you just run into a problem. And sometimes, guys, we hope not. Sometimes you'll find a little bit of a glitch along the way. The software goes weird one day. There's an issue. If that happens, just reach out and we will help you fix it as soon as possible. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all so much. Thanks for coming. And we're looking forward to working with you guys on this show. We're very excited. It's going to be a terrific show in Hollywood. Thank you.